All right, hello everybody. Just doing a quick little video here. It's been a very productive day. The garden is now outside and fenced in the place that it's going to be for the season. I've determined that this is where it's going to get the most sun and where it's going to be the most easily accessible. I was blessed in that I was able to use fencing that I had and chicken wire that I had, as well as pallet slats that I also had that I had left over from building the bunny barn. So what I did was I basically just took I'll turn it around here so you can see. I took the pallet slats and I cut a point on one end of them and then drove them into the ground with a 4-pound single jack. And then I ran that green fencing all around it, and it meets there in the front there. I ran the green fencing all around it and stapled it off. I was joking with my son earlier. A T50 staple gun is probably one of the most used tools in farming and gardening. When I worked for the land farm, when I worked for the oyster farm, a silver click-clack, click-clack T50 staple gun. You use that a lot, and even in construction, putting in insulation and things like that. But that's how all that's held on. And then I went around the bottom of it and going about just rough 8-10 inches up all the way around. I ran chicken wire around because I had problems last year with rabbits and other sorts of small rodents such as chipmunks and stuff getting into the garden and just eating stuff, going crazy. I also had problems with beetles, so I'm going to be doing Japanese beetle traps. There's a Johnston police car. That's like, he's coming from not even that, going that way where he was coming from is going towards Connecticut. Johnston is down that way somewhere. I don't know what he was doing. He was out here doing something. There goes somebody on a bike. We've had a lot of bicyclists today. But yeah, so I ran the chicken wire around the bottom because I don't want anything getting in there. And this is high enough that it will deter rabbits and smaller furry creatures that might want to get in there. I'm not too worried about deer because I mean, we're right here. That's all the stuff that's all the cardboard that was underneath the garden when it was in the bathroom. We're gonna burn that, and the ash is gonna go right in the compost pile. But not too worried about deer because this is the porch right here, and it's right on the front of the house. All of the deer that we do have come up through the swamp over there and go up into the churchyard, and they eat all the bushes and everything in there. So I'm not too worried about deer. I didn't have any problems with deer last year. It was mostly rabbits, wild rabbits getting in there and eating absolutely everything in those beetles, those absolutely awful beetles. But yeah, so we got a lot done today. We got, obviously the garden is out. You can see that, and this is going to be where it stays. I still got to pick up my tools. I had my tool belt there. This is a cool thing here. These little staple tack puller things, they work well for getting underneath the staples if you need to. Also, I added this hook to the belt so I can hang an impact or something off of it. But you can see it just goes around. See, everything's sprouting. You can see green in there. Carrots are finally starting to do something. I got to build a bigger bean trellis, but that's coming. There's that T50 staple gun I was talking about. But you can see it's just a rough fence. It'll keep out what it needs to. My potatoes are coming up. That makes me happy. Seeing everything coming up makes me happy. But coming over here, we cleaned out the rabbit hutch. Did, you know, took it out, shook it out, gave them more hay, cleaned out underneath it. I think I'm going to leave no straw underneath it and see how it goes this time. You can see them moving around in there maybe. I'm going to leave no straw underneath it and see how it goes, and maybe that way I can scoop up their poops more readily for the manure tea that I like to use. And I cleaned all around the house, did a fall cleanup, got the leaves out of there. And what I had wanted to do, and what I did do, was I mucked out the bunny barn. And you can see this is all underneath here. That's all bunny barn, manure and hay. And what I did was I put that layer down and I got it nice and soaking wet with the hose. I moved it all around, got it nice and wet, made sure it was nice and soaking wet. And then I put this layer of all of the leaves, and I do this every year. I let the leaves blow up against the house and blow into the foundation of the house. And I let them sit all winter long, and then I pick them up, scoop them all up, and I layer them on the compost over a particularly ripe green layer. And all of that hay has rabbit manure and urine throughout it, so once the sun starts setting on that, that's going to have a scent to it. But what you do, you put another layer, you put the brown layer on top like I got here, and it's literally, you can see it's brown leaves, and you put that down, and that'll seal in the freshness, as one of my partners on the ambulance used to say when we'd get a particularly nasty smelling patient. We'd wrap them up real tight, burrito them in a blanket or a sheet. Oh yeah, we're gonna seal in the freshness. But yeah, so that's gonna seal in the freshness of the compost pile. All the wet and the energy in there. There's all there's big worms in there, earthworms as thick around as my thumb. They all came from the leaves. They love the leaves, and they were all going in there. You can see I got coffee grounds on top there. I just emptied the coffee maker out here. But yeah, so the compost is gonna start kicking soon. I got the garden out. Here's the back of the bunny barn. So here's the master plan. I don't know if I've shared this online, but I keep bothering my family with it. The master plan. This is my master plan. There's the bunny barn now. That you see that. You see we got evergreen trees. We got this nice big tree here, right here. This is a nice little spot. So what I'm gonna do, and it doesn't matter that the ground is slanted because I build tool sheds for a living. There's ways around this, and I can do a video on that, on how you block everything and all that. But I'm gonna put right here, I'm gonna put 2 dog crates that I'm gonna build up on the 4x4s and 2x4s like that. I'm going to build them up off the ground. I'm going to build them so that they're level. And those are going to be where we grow out. They're going to be the grow out barns, one for the males and one for the females. They're going to be the grow out barns for Ruth and Timothy's babies. And we're going to grow them out in here in the 2 barns. They're going to fit here and here. And that's going to be where we grow our meat. Now, I have mentioned it on here before, but I'll mention it again. Right here, now I'm standing where I want to put the grow-out barns for the meat rabbits. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Right there, I want to put in, essentially, the same structure that I built there with a ramp that goes up into it and have no front gate on it. So this structure here, like this, with that roof. Actually, no, with just a regular roof. The roof is on fire. We don't need no water. Yeah, but so I'm gonna build this again, essentially. But I'm gonna build little bump offs off of it. Those little bump offs that come off of it are gonna be nesting boxes. And this structure, there's going to be a twin to this structure. It's going to have a ramp that comes down like this. It's not going to have this front gate. all of that whole structure, like I said, here's going to be the bunny barns where we grow them out. And I'm standing where we're going to grow them out, and I'm looking at where I want to build that chicken coop that I just described. The entire thing is going to be enclosed in a dog cage, like a dog run. You know, the kinds that you buy for $200 at Harbor Freight or Tractor Supply or something. Boom, there you have a dog crate. And the one that I want to do, it's a six wide by, I think, 10 deep and 6 tall. And that's going to be right there. That's going to be an enclosed area with a chain link dog kennel, I guess you'd call it, an outdoor dog kennel. I'm going to put a roof on it, and I'm going to slant the roof. And the roof is going to all drain into a gutter. The gutter is going to come down and have a little hose and go into a water keg, a water 55-gallon drum for water. It's all going to collect the rain, and that's what's going to water the chickens. And if it produces enough that it waters the chickens, I'd like to also use it to water the 2 grow out barns, and just fill up their water bottles with it. We do have probably about 1,000 feet into the swamp, we do have a creek back there. And I would love to build a little ram pump and go down there and pump that water up to be able to use that to water my garden and to supplement the rainwater for the animals that I want to have. The reason I don't like using the well water, and we do have well water, is that it has a lot of minerals in it. It has the heavy minerals in it, and it does tend to turn the plants a little yellow, so I like to try to rely on rainwater. Again, like I'm saying, I want to do 2 grow-out barns made out of dog kennels, the indoor dog kennels, and I'll build a little roof over them. And ideally, I could use that roof also to collect water. But the two dog kennels for the bunny barn here, and then the outdoor chain link dog kennel back there, enclosed, with a structure similar to this, to use as a chicken coop. Now, with all of these rabbits that I hope to be growing and then eating, where are we going to feed them? What are we going to use to feed them? Well, a sack of the rabbit feed that I've been getting is about $15 for 70 pounds, which is great, but if you've got 2 dozen rabbits and you're, feeding them to fatten them up, you